Hello and welcome to Scale Stuff. In this week's video, I'm going to be taking post-build look at the Airfix 135th scale British Army Austin K2/Y ambulance. As always, before I get into the kit, I'm going to start with a little bit of history. The Austin K2Y was a British heavy military ambulance built by the Austin Motor Company for use during World War II. The ambulance could take 10 casualties sitting or 4 stretcher cases. One veteran stated that he carried 27 wounded at one point in the North Africa campaign by seating passengers on the wings, bonnet and rear steps, and even using rifles to support extra stretchers across the walkway in the back. Austin K2/Y ambulances were built at Austin's Lumbridge plant, which is just round the corner from me, and makes this model build a little bit special as it was part of my area's contribution to the Second World War effort. Now onto the model. This model is a new release being made in 2022, and you can really tell when you open the box. All of the parts are incredibly sharp and crisp, with virtually no cleanup needed. There is also a little bit of photo etched included with this kit, which is a nice addition not normally included with Airfix kits, and something that I hope they do more of in the future. There are rumours going around that this kit was tooled for them by Academy, based on the style and layout of a few of the books and bits and pieces that go with it, but I wasn't able to verify this rumour, only add to it. As always, I checked around on the internet to see if there were any inaccuracies in the build and found one small-ish problem with the kit. Although the model comes with 2 North African paint schemes, it turns out these ambulances often had the engine side cowlings removed in this theatre of action to aid cooling. The model doesn't come with an engine and would look very strange if you left the side cowlings off of this model. This kind of makes these schemes sort of not accurate. However, after reading this, I then spent hours looking at photos of these ambulances in North Africa during World War II and saw about as many with the side cowlings on as with the side cowlings off. So I think this error comes down to a draw. Also, the vents on top of the ambulance are square, which makes it a later model of this ambulance. It does not come with any options for the rounded early type vents seen on this ambulance, so that's something to watch out for if you've got a specific time period in mind. Overall, I found this model simple and straightforward to build, with well thought out full colour instructions. The parts require very little in the way of cleanup, and though a fair few injection port marks are on the kit, they are all well hidden and didn't cause any real trouble. As with every model though, there are a few things that you want to watch out for on this kit. First thing, right out of the gate, be careful when building the chassis of this vehicle. I'm not sure if it's just me, but I nearly lost track of which end was the front and which side was the top. This is probably me just being an idiot, but I nearly glued a couple of bits in the wrong place, so just keep an eye on it during the early stages. Also, the chassis, the interior, stretchers, internal walls, nooks and crannies, along with the driver's cab, really need to be painted as you go in order to have a hope in hell of painting them nice. I'm sure that for most people watching this statement is horses for courses, and yeah, you didn't really need me to point it out. But, you know, for the enthusiastic out there, be aware. The rear bay of this model is made in a box styling construction. There are no markings when it comes to lining up the internal part of this box onto the rear bed. And though it all worked out okay for me in the end, I found this stage the most tricky thing of the build process and found the instructions a little bit vague to follow, but then again, that could just be me being an idiot. Speaking of the rear cabin, there are loads of nice details in here, with scope to add some nice scenes and dioramas and figures. However, I can't show you this on my model, as despite it all being rather neatly painted in there and shaded, I opted after a long hard debate with myself to glue the back doors in place. The doors fit on 2 very fine hinges, which is great detail wise, but for all of this detail I decided the best choice was to close them rather than risk them falling off during the dusting while on the shelf. I kind of wish there was a non-scale hinge option allowing them to be closed and open to have the best of both worlds, but that's not the case, and it's more of a moan about having your scaled detail and eating it or something like that. Unfortunately, this kit does not come with any figures, and it kind of makes me a little sad, to be honest. It would be nice to have a driver sitting in the nicely detailed cab, but Airfix have not included this option, so I will have to go to an aftermarket offering to make my cab feel complete. Decals wise, this kit comes with the markings to make 4 versions of the ambulance, 2 in standard issue dark green, 1 from 30 Corps posted in Europe, and 1 from the Auxiliary Territorial Service based in England, along with 2 desert schemes, 1 in a uniform sand scheme based with the British Army in Egypt, and 1 with the iconic angular free-tone desert camo scheme based with the British Army in North Africa. Overall, the Airfix Austin ambulance kit is a lovely kit. Being a new tooling, all of the detail is super sharp and crisp. The model goes together well, with only a few minor problems. The kit's got tons of details, but requires a lot of painting as you go. The inclusion of photo etch parts, though there are not many of these, sweetens the whole deal for this model. And with lots of details in the rear cabin, I can see this kit having loads of scope for dioramas. I paid £30 for this model earlier on in this year, and for what you get in the kit, I think that's a fair price for a new release model with superb details and lots of paint scheme options. I just wish the kit came with a driver. Anyway, that's my after action report on the 1/35th scale Airfix British Army Austin ambulance. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you find this video helpful if you're planning on building one of these yourself. Until next time, have a good one. Goodbye.